After the finals, I sat in my room for 2 weeks, did absolutely nothing, talked to absolutely nobody. Going through my first 7 years in the NBA, I was always the liked one, and to be on the other side. They call it the dark side or the villain, whatever they call it. Basically, turned me into somebody I wasn't. You start to hear the villain. Now you have to be the villain. And I started to buy into it. I started to play the game of basketball at a level or at a mind state that I've never played at before. Being angry, and that's mentally, and that's not the way I play the game of basketball.
Listen to understand. I feel like a lot of people, when they listen to somebody else, they just listen to respond. They already have like an answer in their head before they even hear what the other person says. It goes in one ear and it goes out the other. They don't listen, really know and process what the other person is saying, and then develop a response. When somebody asks them a question, it's automatic. And I feel like it's very important to listen to understand rather than listening to respond. Because how are you supposed to have a conversation that moves things forward when you're just on autopilot, when you're just, this is what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter what the other person says. This is what I'm going to say. So I feel like it's like if you're in traffic or if you're just driving in general, you'll see, I know a lot of people when they drive, they see the walking sign for the pedestrians. And there's a countdown. So you're like, okay, I see that it's almost at 0. So when it's at 0, the light turns yellow. And in your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna just start braking already. But sometimes that just counts down. Just to count down. It doesn't mean that the light's gonna change to red. So you start braking, but then it doesn't end up turning red. It stays green. So you had a answer and a response and action already in your head, the pre-response, and that will affect the people behind you, that will affect you, because you're slowing down, you're stopping the motion forward. And if you never looked over there, you would have just seen green the whole time. So you would have just reacted to what you saw, and you have to react to what you hear, especially with people in your life, friends, partners, parents, just everyday strangers too. If you just have answers in your head without listening to the other person, you can't progress with relationships, you can't progress with conversations. It's like if you and somebody else disagree on something, then you need to actually see where they're coming from, understand why they are the way that they are, why there's a problem in the first place. But you are so stubborn and you are hard-headed, so you've never actually listened to what the person's saying. It's like whatever they say, whatever it is that comes out of their mouth, it's wrong. It won't change my mind. And I feel like it's important to listen and really understand, so then you can develop a response and you can see if what they're saying is actually valid, is actually true. Because if you are so stuck in your ways, stuck in your own head, that you're right about everything, nothing that happens, nothing that you can say will change how I feel, then I feel like you can never really learn, you can never really progress in any aspect, because if you're like that with relationships in your life, you'll be like that in your whole life completely. So understanding that listening to understand is important for your growth, and always having an open mind towards things, but not to say that whatever you hear is right. Whatever you hear, you have to really take into consideration. You have to really just have good judgment and still stand on what you believe, because there's another side to it that people aren't grounded enough in their core beliefs, in who they are. They just change like the seasons. They don't really stand firm like a rock. When they really believe in something, they don't stand for it. They just allow other people to change their opinion, to influence what they do. So the middle ground of not being too stubborn, but also not being like a leaf in the wind, just blowing wherever it takes you. So it's like what Bruce Lee said: you have to be water. You have to be able to adapt and change, but also knowing when to stay still, knowing when to stand on what you believe and not getting pushed around. So people can teach you so much, because everybody goes through different experiences than you. Everybody processes things and learns things differently in different situations, because both of you can go through the exact same thing, but the lesson that you got out of it versus the lesson that they got out of it could be so much different. Like, say if two people both go to the gym consistently for a year, one person can take away that if I work out every single day, I'm just gonna be sore all the time. I'm just gonna be tired all day, every day, and there's no time for anything else in my life except for the gym. I lost my social life because I was just at the gym all the time. I lost my social skills. I lost all my friends. But another person who could have gone through the exact same thing could say, the gym taught me so much about myself. I know how to be disciplined. I know delayed gratification. I learned how to push myself. I learned that I am capable of so much more. And y'all both went through the exact same experience, but knowing and understanding both sides of it, but taking what you know and not listening and really putting into your life, putting it into action in your own life of what other people say that can affect you negatively. Because yeah, some people have a lot of value and a lot of positive things that they can add to your life, but there's a lot of people who have negativity and just things that are not right, and they're just spreading it towards other people. So listening to understand why they are the way that they are, and you can help them. You can say, oh, but this is what I learned. And it's important to make sure the other person feels heard you have to be an active listener. When somebody's talking to you, you have to acknowledge that you're listening. You have to give them signs that you're listening, because nobody wants to talk to a brick wall. If you were just looking at them, dead face, nothing, then it's better for them to just talk to nobody, right? Because they don't know that you're actually listening and actually paying attention to what they're saying. So be an active listener. Be a listener who understands before they speak. Think before you speak. So I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you